Let me describe a situation you might recognize. You make decent money. Maybe 65,000. Maybe 80,000. Maybe even six figures. You are not struggling. You can pay your bills. You are doing what society calls well. But when you look at your bank account, there is almost nothing there. Maybe 2,000. Maybe 5,000 if you've been careful. And you can't quite figure out where all the money went. You are not buying luxury items. You are not gambling. You are not living some extravagant lifestyle. You are just living. And somehow, that is enough to consume almost everything you earn. Here is what nobody tells you. This isn't a math problem. It is a psychology problem. And today, I am going to show you the exact mental mechanisms that keep your bank account empty, despite having good income. Let's break it down. The first psychological mechanism emptying your bank account is called anchoring. And it starts the moment you get your job offer. Let's say you just got hired making $75,000 a year. When you see that number, your brain immediately anchors to it. That becomes your reference point for every financial decision you make. You think, I make $75,000, I can afford a nice apartment. You think, I make $75,000, I should have a reliable car. You think, I make $75,000, I deserve to enjoy my life. And all of that sounds completely reasonable, because you do make $75,000. But here is the trap. Your brain anchored to the gross number, not the net number. After taxes, that $75,000 becomes about $56,000 in take-home pay. That is $4,670 per month. You are thinking in terms of $6,250, which is what $75,000 divided by 12 looks like. But you are not thinking in terms of $4,670. This is anchoring bias. You've locked onto a number that doesn't reflect your actual financial reality. So when you go apartment hunting, you don't think, what can I afford on $4,670 a month? You think, what can someone making a year afford? And the market is designed to answer that second question. Landlords use the 30 rule. Your rent should be no more than 30 of your gross income. For someone making $75,000, that is $1,875 per month. So you rent a place for $1,800. It feels appropriate. It feels like what you should have. But $1,800 out of $4,670 take home isn't 30. It is 38.5. Right there, before you've made any other financial decision, anchoring bias has caused you to overspend by nearly 10 of your actual income. And you don't even realize it is happening, because the apartment feels right for someone at your income level. This same pattern repeats with cars, clothing, vacations, everything. You are constantly making decisions based on what someone making $75,000 should have, not on what someone taking home $4,670 can actually afford. Anchoring bias is why people making good money still live paycheck to paycheck. They're spending against the wrong number. The second psychological mechanism is lifestyle creep, powered by something called hedonic adaptation. Here is how it works. When you first graduate college and start working, maybe you are making $50,000. You live with a roommate. You drive an old car. You eat cheap food. And it is fine. You are happy enough, because this is better than being a broke student. Then you get a raise to $60,000. Suddenly, you can afford your own place. So you move out. Your brain experiences a spike in happiness. Having your own space feels amazing. But here is what happens next. Within 3 to 6 months, that happiness fades. Your brain adapts to the new baseline. The one-bedroom apartment that felt luxurious at first now just feels normal. It is just your apartment. This is hedonic adaptation. We quickly get used to improvements in our circumstances, and they stop providing the emotional boost they initially gave us. So what do? You look for the next upgrade. You get another raise to $70,000. Now you can afford a nicer apartment, or a better car, or more frequent dinners out. Each upgrade provides a brief spike of satisfaction, then becomes the new normal. This is lifestyle creep. Your expenses rise in lockstep with your income, always consuming whatever new money comes in. And here is the insidious part. Lifestyle creep is much easier than lifestyle reduction. Going from a roommate to your own place feels great. Going from your own place back to a roommate feels like failure. Upgrading your car feels like progress. Downgrading feels like you are going backwards in life. Your brain treats lifestyle upgrades as gains and lifestyle downgrades as losses. And humans are psychologically wired to feel losses about twice as intensely as equivalent gains. This is called loss aversion, and it is why people stay trapped in expensive lifestyles, even when they know they should cut back. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say someone, will call him Jod, starts at $55,000 and saves $400 a month because he lives cheaply. Over 3 years, he gets raises to $65,000, then $75,000. If he maintained his original lifestyle, he'd now be saving $2,000 a month. But that is not what happens. At $65,000, he moves to a nicer apartment. That costs an extra $300 a month. At $75,000, he upgrades his car. That is another $250 a month. He also starts eating out more, buying nicer clothes, taking better vacations. By the time he is making $75,000, he is still only saving $400 a month, the same amount he saved at $55,000. His income increased by 36. His savings increased by 0. All the extra money got absorbed by lifestyle creep. And the brutal part, he doesn't feel 36 happier. Because hedonic adaptation kicked in and normalized all the upgrades. He is just running faster on the same treadmill. This is why your bank account stays empty despite making more money every few years. Your lifestyle expenses are eating the raises before you can capture them as wealth. The third psychological mechanism is social comparison. Humans are deeply social creatures. We don't evaluate our lives in a vacuum. We evaluate them relative to the people around us. And this creates a massive problem for your bank account. Here is what happens. You make $75,000. That is a good salary by national standards. But you don't live in national standards. You live in a specific city, work with specific people, have specific friends. And you are constantly, often unconsciously, comparing yourself to them. Your coworker just bought a new car. Suddenly you're paid off 2015 Honda feels inadequate. Your friend from college just moved into a beautiful apartment downtown. Now your place feels shabby. Your Instagram feed is full of people at nice restaurants, on beach vacations, wearing clothes that cost more than your monthly grocery budget. And even though you logically know that social media is a highlight reel, even though you understand that people are often financing these lifestyles with debt, it still affects you, because your brain is running an ancient algorithm. Am I keeping up with my tribe? In prehistoric times, falling behind your social group could mean exclusion, which could mean death. That algorithm is still running, and it is incredibly powerful. So, you start making financial decisions not based on what you can afford, not based on what will build wealth, but based on what will keep you looking equivalent to your peer group. This is called reference group spending. And it is devastating to wealth accumulation. If all your friends rent apartments for $1,200 a month, you feel fine renting for $1,200. But if you get a new job and suddenly your coworkers are all renting for $2,000 a month, your $1,200 apartment starts to feel inadequate. You didn't change. Your apartment didn't change. Your actual needs didn't change. But your reference group changed. And suddenly, the same apartment that felt fine now feels like you are falling behind. So you upgrade. Not because you need it, but because you need to feel equivalent. The same pattern happens with cars, clothes, vacations, everything. Your spending isn't driven by your needs. It is driven by your peer group spending. And here is the really destructive part. You tend to compare upward, not downward. You don't look at people making less than you and feel grateful. You look at people making the same or slightly more and feel like you should have what they have. This is why high-income people often have empty bank accounts. They're stuck in reference groups, where everyone is spending aggressively. And keeping up requires consuming their entire income. A lawyer making $150,000 compares herself to other lawyers making $150,000. If those lawyers are leasing BMWs and living in luxury apartments, she feels pressure to do the same. Even though she could easily build wealth on 150,000 by living like someone making 80,000. But that would require social courage. It would require being okay with looking less successful than her peer group. And most people aren't willing to do that. So the bank account stays empty, because the reference group's spending habits consume everything. The fourth psychological mechanism is present bias. This is your brain's tendency to heavily weight immediate rewards over future rewards. And it is the reason why knowing you should save money and actually saving money are two different things. Here is the tension. Spending money feels good right now. You get the dopamine hit immediately. You buy the nicer apartment. You feel the satisfaction today. You finance the car. You drive it home today. You go out to dinner. You enjoy it tonight. All the rewards are immediate and concrete. Saving money, on the other hand, is an abstract future benefit. If you save 500 this month, you don't feel wealthier today. Your life doesn't improve today. The benefit is theoretical. It is somewhere in the distant future. It is hard to emotionally connect with. Your brain has to imagine a future version of you that will benefit from today's sacrifice. And for most people, future you feels like a different person. Someone you care about, sure, but not as much as present you. This is called temporal discounting. Future rewards are emotionally discounted, compared to present rewards. So when you are deciding between saving 500 and upgrading your lifestyle by 500, present bias kicks in. The lifestyle upgrade feels real and tangible. The savings feels abstract and distant. Present, you wins. Every time. And this is why even people who intellectually understand compound interest, who know they should invest, who know they're harming their future selves, still don't save. Because present bias is stronger than intellectual knowledge. You'd need enormous willpower to consistently override it. And willpower is a finite resource. Eventually, present bias wins. This is also why windfalls disappear so quickly. You get a 5,000 tax refund. You know you should invest it. But your brain immediately starts generating reasons why you should spend it. I've been working so hard. I deserve a vacation. My car is old. I should upgrade. This is a one-time thing. I'll start saving next month. Present bias turns a potential wealth building event into just another consumption opportunity. The bank account stays empty. So let's put it all together. Your empty bank account, despite good income, isn't because you are bad with money. It is because you are human. Anchoring bias makes you overspend based on gross income instead of net income. Lifestyle creep and hedonic adaptation ensure that raises get absorbed into higher expenses instead of higher savings. Social comparison and reference groups pressure you to spend to keep up with your peer group. And present bias makes future wealth feel less real than present consumption. These aren't character flaws. These are how human brains work. The financial system has evolved over decades to exploit these psychological vulnerabilities. Landlords anchor you to gross income. Car dealers use monthly payments to exploit present bias. Social media amplifies reference group spending. Credit cards make it effortless to choose present consumption over future wealth. You are not fighting against your own laziness. You are fighting against deeply wired psychological mechanisms and a system designed to extract your money. So what do? You can't eliminate these biases. But you can design around them. Automate your savings so present bias doesn't get a vote. Build your financial plan around take-home pay, not gross income, to counter anchoring. Consciously choose a reference group that prioritizes wealth, building over consumption, and recognize that the lifestyle upgrades providing temporary happiness will fade, so stop chasing them. The people with full bank accounts aren't smarter than you. They just see these psychological traps clearly enough to avoid them. If this video helped you understand why your bank account stays empty despite good income, hit subscribe. Understanding the psychology is the first step to changing the outcome. Thanks for watching.